Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Foundation Charter Oak Connecticut Broadleaf Rothchild. The cigar is 4.5 inch by 50 ring gauge. Comes out of the Tabacalera Fernandez factory in Nicaragua. The wrapper is Connecticut Broadleaf. The binder is Nicaraguan Habano, and the filler is from Nicaragua. Blended by Nick Melillo, and the price point on the cigar is a fabulous $5. And the cigar was released in July of 2016. So, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
It was a good pre-light experience. The wrapper I thought had a very attractive, toothy, oily material shade. Um, there was one major vein that was protruding that covered the extent of the cigar. Seams tight, visible, a bunch of roll felt, well done. Got a uniform give throughout. Head finish off with a thick double cap. So really, within a $5 cigar, I'm not expecting much, in terms of like wowing the presentation.
Right.
And that was basically what I got out of it. Within the pre-light nosing experience, wrapper, I got baking spices, sharp cedar, smelling that enclosed foot. I didn't get much of it out of that. Just perhaps it was because it was an enclosed foot. And I mainly got a little bit of dry wood coming through and a hint of dry white pepper spice. Cold draw, dry wood, dry cardboard. So overall, based upon just that wrapper, that shiny sheen to it, and that toothiness, it was good, I thought.
Yeah, wrapper was dark brown, had one prominent vein that kind of ran like the cigar. So I think similar to what your experience was like. Seams were very well blended and smooth. Appeared to be two very well applied caps. Foot was mostly covered with excess wrapper that was folded over. There was one little small section where the filler was visible. The band appeared to be the same that's on the Connecticut Shade version. The aroma from the wrapper was barnyard and leather, and then due to the foot being mostly closed, I got pretty much the same aroma from the foot. And then on the pre-light draw, I got some raisin sweetness and a decent spicy tingle on my lips. So flavor-wise, first third through final third, what was your experience like?
Starting off the first third, I mean, this is my kind of jam for broadleaf. Dense, chewy, earthy dankness, cream milk chocolate. I mean, all of that just immediately hits my palate. Quarter inch in, got a gritty dirtiness starting to form. In addition to getting some oak and a bit of a flowery perfume going on too. The retrohaling, richer cream milk chocolate, very like well-mannered, like satisfying black pepper spice. Finish mainly comprised of lasting oak and gritty earth. Body is medium plus, strength medium. Moving on to the second third. I felt like the second third was more wood and spice centric. And that oak and that well-mannered black pepper are the two main players. With that, the profile became less dank, and that cream milk chocolate kind of took like a secondary note. Also, baking spices enters in more of like an intermittent fashion. Retro remains unchanged, still giving me that richer cream chocolate and just that right amount of that black pepper spice coming through. Finish now mainly made up of just a lingering oak. Body strength unchanged, medium plus and medium. Moving on last third. The last third is kind of like that first third when I was like, oh man, like this is what I like about broadleaf. So the return of that dankness and that milk chocolate coming back. That black pepper spice and oak is now more like a supporting cast of flavors. Baking spice also is a flavor that was just here to stay. Is no longer just teetering on and off. Retro is still that cream milk chocolate, just the right amount of the black pepper spice coming through. And the finish, surprisingly, within the last third, I thought it increased in complexities. I got oak, cream mixed nuts, and a subtle black pepper. Strength still at the medium mark, and body still at that medium plus mark. So really good.
Yeah, initial draws brought a peppery and earthy wood with a little hint of cocoa. And then at a quarter inch in, the earthiness faded back and the pepper wood and the slight cocoa remained. Retrohale was like a toned down version of that peppered wood. And then at half inch in, the pepper leaves the profile and it was primarily oak with the slight cocoa still in the background. At an inch in, some cream joined in with the oak and the slight cocoa. And then as the third came to a close, that cream left and some wood bitterness joined in with the oak. And the strength was right at medium. then getting into the second third, kind of continued on with the oak and the slight wood bitterness. Retrohale was like a slightly dry oak. And then at a half inch in, the wood bitterness increased and kind of came even with the oak. And it seemed to work well together with those flavors. At an inch in, the oak became young and a little bit of greenness and some bitterness, had a little bit of a bite to it. The Retrohale was also a slightly green oak, but there was no bitterness there. And as the third came to a close, that greenness went away and the profile kind of went back to that even mix of oak and the wood bitterness. And strength was still right at medium. And then in the final third, equal mix of oak and wood bitterness was continuing on. And then at half inch in, a little bit of cream joined in, which knocked down most of that wood bitterness. And then at 3/4 of an inch in, the cigar began to heat up, which kind of brought some of that bitterness back along with that creamy oak. And then as the cigar was finishing up, kind of had that same creamy oak and slight bitterness to it. And the strength had bumped up just a little bit to be slightly above medium. So performance-wise for burn and draw, what was your experience like?
Really good. Burn, slow and cool burning. Rothschild clocking in at hour and 52 minutes. So really good burn time. Asher sat on fairly tight with a little bit of flaring going through. Ashmark's average self-tap 1.5 inches. No big surprise. I mean, most broadleaf, the leaf is so thick and hardy that it's, rarely did I have a crappy burn. Within the ones I smoked anyways. Within the draw, a little snug for my liking, but it was still really good. No real complaints.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for much more from the burn. I mean, it was razor sharp the entire way. Ash just held on in about 3/4 inch increments, so it was really nice. And the draw was perfect. I mean, it had just the right amount of resistance that I prefer, so I had no complaints at all about performance-wise for this cigar. So overall, what were your thoughts?
I mean, without a doubt, this is a box purchase for me. I think about a $5 Connecticut broadleaf that's giving me, what I like in a broadleaf. Within that dankness, that gritty earth, and the milk chocolate. Like that is my kind of broadleaf that I really enjoy. And if you provide it at $5 a cigar, I mean that's awesome. This is going to be everyday broadleaf for me. I don't think there's such a thing, but I made it a thing. But I mean, you're looking at let's give a day in which I have a cigar day, right? So I start off with his Charter Oak Rothschild Connecticut Shade, and then I'll move on to Dion's Illusione Rothschild, his Mexican San Andreas one, and then I'll finish off with this broadleaf one. And I just spent $15 for a full day of really enjoying cigars.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for me, the first third was pretty good, and then it kind of settled into an average profile the rest of the way. Some of the bitterness kind of just degraded things a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And we've been talking about price. It doesn't factor into our scoring at all, but I think you have to mention it when you talk about this cigar. It's very budget friendly. So, people that find this enjoyable, this profile enjoyable, like Jiunn, this is a new daily smoke that they can add to their rotation for sure. I'm curious if more time would help settle the bitterness down. I mean, you didn't seem to get any bitterness, so maybe it was just kind of the sample I had. So, but if I smoke another one and that bitterness isn't there, and I get more of that cocoa, and when you talk about getting the milk chocolate, if I just maybe get more pronounced version of that, then it will, it really bump this up for me and make it a real winner. But if you like Connecticut broadleaf, I think you have to try this cigar to see if it hits your profile, because if it does, there's no reason not to stock up on these, I don't think. So it would be a real winner there. So getting into the scores, I gave it a 6.33. You gave it an 8 even. How do you think that matched up with your experience?
It matched up really well. I mean, overall, the profile was very good, coupled by very good construction, and it was just a really good cigar. So, yeah, I fully stand by that.
Yeah, mine matches up well. Perfect performance, a good, and then getting into average most of the way flavor profile. So it makes the score match up. I'm definitely interested in smoking more of these to see if I can get a little bit less bitterness and more cocoa, more chocolate out of it. And then if that's the case, it would definitely score higher for me. Any other final thoughts from you?
Crap, I forgot what I was going to say. No.
All right. Well, if you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us there, but also go to the website, developingpalates.com, to read the full written review. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. And all of our recaps can also be heard on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.